Tell me about how the three of you first met.
Jeff and I met the summer before we went to college.
I met Wynn through his cousin back when we first got into Virginia Tech. Brian, I met freshman year English class.
Jeff and I had an English class together.
We joined the same fraternity. Brian became my little brother. I think I was his fifth selection, and that's how we all came together, and then we all worked at the same company at Aerotech.
It was a great company. I thought they had a great training program. Did a lot of stuff right, and that's why they're #1 right now.
They're doing great things, but you feel like you could do it better.
The way I think that we were treated as employees, and just realizing this is a great industry, this is not the company that we want to do it for.
We just felt like we could do some things better.
And that was really, the impetus for the whole thing. We wanted to do it better. When we opened the office on the first day, it's just this mix of emotions. You're terrified, nervous, you're stressed.
I almost remember thinking just, all right, what do we do now? All right, we did it, and it's almost just getting back into the basics.
Everybody was just determined, and so everyone was willing to do whatever it took.
So I think we all just hit the phones and started working like we knew how to do. Biggest fears, I don't know if maybe I just wasn't bright enough to be scared, but I really don't remember fear as being one of the things in my memory. I remember being more anxious, more excited.
Letting my parents down. I didn't want to let them down. I also didn't want to let Jeff and Brian down.
Failure just was not an option for just our own pride.
Archway 60 was it's got a soft spot in my heart. It always will. We did used to have another name for it, and Archway something else.
It was just very small. It was 700 square feet.
Basically had one little office space where we kind of called it a pit, but it was basically an office. Another office that we used for interviewing, and then a small reception area.
And that was it. When you start a business like this, it's like you're in an airplane that's pointed straight at the ground. It's just the plane starts heading towards the ground and you're just pulling up on the stick.
We weren't very technical. We had a piece of paper on the wall with a line graph that we had drawn out. Slowly you would see our sales going up and the money we had in the bank going down.
I remember in May of 1996, that checking account being down around somewhere in the neighborhood of $15,000, which is nothing in our business.
It took a while to get going though. It was not a sure thing out of the gates.
Slowly it started flattening out, and then slowly it started climbing back up.
When things started to take off is really when we hired our first employee. I remember thinking like, okay, now we can get this down, let's replicate this, and let's get some other people on board.
Probably second to that would be when we opened the DC office. It really brought a competitiveness between the two branches. Each office wanting to be #1, each office wanting to be better than the other.
I think the biggest factor in Apex's success has definitely, without question, been the people.
It's simply our people. They've really knocked it out of the park. I think we've got some world-class people from the front office to the back office. I'd be willing to put our folks against any company out there in the country. We're raw, but we're solid.
The most critical thing that we have here in this company goes home every night and has dinner. And it doesn't rest in these walls after dark. It's the people.
We've had close to no turnover, 0 turnover over the last 8 years at our managing director level. And I think that makes all the difference in the world.
We got a lot of great leaders on board who are really running things great now.
You walk into any branch and you're going to see a lot of people who are hustling. You're going to see a lot of people that are exuding this energy to get things done. There's a high sense of urgency, congratulating each other, and everyone's got their own little traditions, but there's that sense of camaraderie that gets established.
Most exciting time for Apex.
Most exciting time for Apex is now.
I always look at these years as being the most exciting because we're an established company, we have a great base of customers, we have a geographic footprint that goes across the country, and we're positioned to continue to grow.
For me, it's every time we open a new office. I love the excitement of opening a new location, opening a new branch, a satellite branch. To me, that's just exciting. That's the start of something new.
5-year plan for Apex is to crush Tech Systems.
The 5-year plan for Apex is just to stick to the basics.
What actually is to crush Tech Systems.
We've got a solid game plan, we've got some solid leaders in the company, and just to continue on that path.
Our goal is to crush Tech Systems.
The next 5 years holds enormous opportunity for us to be able to go as high and as far as we want to go.
I can say it differently. I can say our next 10 years will be spent hunting down Tech Systems.
The key things we're going to focus on really is try and focus on what's in front of us in this year and try and set up some of the things that will determine where we'll be 5 years from now.
I mean, I can get into numbers and stuff. Crush Tech Systems said it all. Are you looking for more detail than that?